Hello and welcome. Let's just take a moment for a bit of quiet reflection. We're going to explore something that's, deeply personal to all of us, the very architecture of our beliefs.
So let's just jump right in, okay? Here's the big question I want us to think about. Just take a breath, sit with this for a second. Why do you believe what you believe? Now, before we go any further, I want to be super clear about something. The point of this is not to judge. And it's definitely not to criticize or to tell you what you should be thinking. Nope. The whole goal of our little journey here is just to notice, to become a bit more aware of those structures that are built up inside our own minds. Okay, so where do these beliefs even begin? Well, let's take a look at their origins. And here's the key thing to get. So many of our beliefs aren't really chosen by us at all. They're just absorbed, kind of like a sponge. I love this example. It's so simple, but it's also kind of profound. For years, the belief was that Persil was the best washing powder. Why? Not because of some double-blind study, but because my mother used it. Think about that. It's not some huge, life-altering conviction, right? But it shows the mechanism perfectly. The belief wasn't based on evidence. It was just inherited. It's that quiet little voice in your head that says, well, if Mom chose it, it must be the right one. And that's just a tiny example of these much bigger forces at play. From the moment we're born, our minds are just these wide open, super impressionable things. Our family, our culture, our school, our friends, they're all pouring their truths into us. And this happens long before we even realize we're being shaped. Their words literally become our own inner voice. And this really brings it home for me. Just stop and think about it for a second. If you were born in a completely different place, to a totally different family, with a whole other set of friends, isn't it almost certain that your core truths would be completely different? It really shows you how much of what we hold to be absolute, rock-solid truth is, well, an accident of where we happen to be born. And look, that's not a flaw or anything. It's just the starting point of being human. All right, so if we just absorb these beliefs early on, how does our mind hold on to them so tightly? Well, it uses these clever little hidden shortcuts, and they all operate on a really simple principle. What feels familiar feels true. And this right here is a classic mental shortcut. It's called the confirmation loop. See, our minds are kind of lazy in a smart way. They're built to be economical, to save energy. They want the world to be predictable. So let's say you believe that a certain brand of car is unreliable. You are going to notice every single time one of them breaks down. It'll stick in your memory like glue. But what about all those smooth, trouble-free journeys? Your brain just filters them out. It's like your brain is this bias detective, only looking for clues that prove its first guess was right. And of course, the more it does that, the stronger and stronger that original belief gets. And that's really the trade-off, isn't it? A new idea, a different perspective. It might be more accurate, sure, but that old, familiar belief, it just feels safe. It feels like home. And so often, our minds will choose that feeling of comfort over the hard, messy work of actually seeking clarity. But this whole thing goes even deeper than just our own individual psychology. Because on a social level, beliefs aren't just ideas floating around in our heads. No, they are the very glue that bonds us to other people. They're our membership cards to a tribe. Think about it. Beliefs almost never grow from pure logic. They usually sprout from these really deep, powerful emotional needs. Things like fear or hope. That deep longing to belong, the need to feel seen and understood. We believe things because they help us connect. And this is why changing our minds can be so unbelievably hard. It's not just about admitting you were wrong about some fact. It's so much more than that. To let go of a core belief, that can feel like you're betraying your family, your community, your whole identity. It can literally feel like you're letting go of a part of yourself. So is that it? Are we just trapped by our early programming? Absolutely not. And that brings us to the final and honestly the most empowering part of this whole reflection. It's about the freedom that comes from pure awareness. It's about the journey from being who we were told we were to becoming who we consciously choose to be. The ancient philosopher Socrates was all over this. He knew that the process of just noticing, of asking yourself, wait a minute, why do I believe this? That process isn't about tearing down your beliefs, it's about understanding them. And that awareness, that's the real beginning of wisdom. And this really lays out the path forward. It's a simple 3-step process. First, self-awareness. That's just noticing the belief without judging yourself for it. Then comes understanding, seeing where it came from, what job it's doing for you. And finally, from that understanding comes freedom. The freedom to consciously choose. Do I keep this belief? Do I tweak it a little? Or am I ready to let it go?
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Yes, our beliefs are incredibly powerful. They absolutely shape our lives. They form the very architecture of our reality. But, and this is the important part, we are the architects. We don't have to be prisoners trapped in a house that someone else built for us, you know?
And so I'll leave you with one final question, bringing it right back to you. After thinking about all this, what's just one belief, it can be big or small, it doesn't matter, what's one belief that you feel ready to just gently examine? Because that's where the journey really begins.